the crisis in the aviation sector, which is facing unprecedented crisis in the country. The persistent rise in the cost of aviation fuel, also known as Jet A1, has prompted stakeholders in the industry to express fears that the sector may collapse. They said there will be huge job losses if the situation is not checked, as the price of Jet A1 has risen from 300 naira in January to 1,000 naira per litre currently. Meanwhile, the cost of an economic ticket for an hour flights on domestic routes has increased by about 400% in less than 5 months, rising from 30,000 naira in February, that's 30,000 naira in February, to about 150,000 naira as at Saturday. If it's not so important, we should just stay put, because these days they will even tell you that to book a ticket ahead of time, return ticket ahead of time, it could be chaotic, because when you get to the airport, flights have been cancelled as a result of this crisis of aviation fuel.
Yes, and the bigger chunk of the blame lies at the door of government. If you've been in power for 7 years, you couldn't fix the refineries, and it's a problem. If they had fixed the refineries, we would not be heavily dependent on importation, because this Jet A1 is actually deregulated. It's not like PMS that is subsidized. So is that just like diesel is deregulated. So individuals will bring them in, and given the forex issues that we have currently, it's extremely difficult to access forex to bring in
from 300 naira in February.
Now, the cost of forex itself, the fact that the naira has depreciated rapidly, is also a big problem, because it then means that you have to spend more to bring in these products. But if we had our refineries working, maybe diesel will be refined here, Jet A1 will be refined, the kerosene will be refined here. But since we have to depend on importation, and these days the naira is on a free fall, you need a lot more naira to bring in these products, and it's reflecting in its price. It's just like diesel. There's no way that diesel will move from 225 naira per litre in January to about 850 at this time, depending on where you are buying. And you expect that Jet A1, that is also deregulated, not subsidized in any way, will not face the same problem. These airlines were pleading that they should even be allowed to bring in the products by themselves, that they do not agree with the price that NNPC quotes. But the National Assembly, the House of Reps, had a session with these people, but they achieved nothing at the end of the day. I wonder why we will have a National Assembly that would wade into a matter, and the resolution by the National Assembly will amount to nothing, because they called these guys, they spoke with them. These airlines, at the rate we are going, they will die one after another. Already now, Dana and Aero, they are gone.
Look at the number of fleets that would have lost.
So, and others are gasping, others are struggling. We have just eight domestic airlines left, and they are struggling now. Today, if you go to the airport, you don't even know whether you'll be able to fly. And these people have been pleading. A lot of them took loans to bring in aircraft from outside our country. And we are watching. We are not trying to help them. I've said before that when 9/11 happened, the American government had to save the airlines, because people were refusing to fly. So are we going to watch them and not try to come in, whether to make available forex for these people to bring the product in.
Because somebody even cracked the joke last week that, look, if you think 150,000 naira to Abuja is expensive, try by road. Try by road.
100
when
million naira
they
by
ask you
road
to go and bring
or
all
by
the
train.
money.
Yeah,
So it's a big mess.
Yes.
And one thing is very peculiar with our situation in Nigeria is that even if we have this crisis over, the prices might not go to the way they used to be before.
Yeah, well, it's been said over and over.
Can I ever go to Abuja with 30,000 naira or 35,000 naira again?
Even that 30,000, when was that?
That's what I'm
because
No, at the time, no, if you booked online.
Yes, online,
and you
okay,
booked
yes.
earlier.
Earlier, okay,
you could
okay.
get it
But if
at
you
that,
want, well, the thing is that the industry must not be allowed to die because it's an industry that has employed a lot of people, the aviation industry. And we must be also conscious about safety. You see, Dana just quietly accepted the decision to ground it, for, safety reasons. But look at the number of people these airlines are employing. And for an economy the size of Nigeria, the biggest economy in Africa, 8 airlines is even small.
Look at Aero Contractor.
Yeah,
Aero Contractor
look,
was
these are
taken
big
over
airlines.
by Amcon, and they couldn't still run it.
Yeah, these are big. These are very big airlines.
The staff, they're always complaining.
Yes, I was in the US 2 weeks after 9/11, and of course I saw how administration officials kept briefing the press, kept talking meetings upon meetings to encourage people to fly. I mean, if you made any funny move on an aircraft, everybody was, would look in your direction. That was how afraid people were. But the US government did everything to reassure the public. Now that we have this,
they even gave them a bailout.
yes, the bailout was fantastic. Yes, the Nigerian government at the time gave the aviation industry a bailout. But you see, you don't stop. When you have to give these things until the industry stabilizes, because the load on the road, if you even remove kidnapping, the load on the road, a lot of our traffic is on the roads. It's so much. So government has to keep spending, a lot of money every year on the road. So if you have a vibrant aviation industry, the spin-offs are so many. The value chain, is so much because a lot of people will benefit from it. And in a situation where almost every state in Nigeria now has an airport, what are you going to do with them? Are those airports going to just be museums or exhibition centers?
Another lucky part is that for safety, we thank God that our country is quite stable when it comes to safety in that industry. NCA, the regulatory body, they are doing a kind of good job. But now these airlines can definitely not meet the demand of the passengers now. Look at the number of aircrafts in their fleets compared to the number of people that want to travel. And with this now, 150,000 naira, people will not afford. People might not be able to afford it again.
People will afford it. If it is that one, no. People will fly. Because the alternative is to risk your life in the hands of some bandits. People will fly.
Very wicked bandits.
Very wicked.
Very wicked.
I have had to pay 120 for a flight. I was coming I was coming from Maiduguri. 120 was what they bought that ticket for. I'm talking about late last year.
Yes.
And the flight was filled to the brim.
To the brim, yeah.
The people who can afford it will afford it because they know what it means. Can you afford to go by road from Maiduguri to Abuja, for example? Are you out of your mind?
No.
Or you will say, okay, I want to go to Kano from Abuja. Let me even decide to go by air. Or you want to go to Kaduna. In those days, it was fun to travel from Lagos here to Kaduna. We passed through Mokwa, all of those Niger communities, and it was fun. But are you okay when you decide that you want to go to Kaduna by road? Are you out of your mind?
Before I used to go from Abuja to Adamawa, Abuja, Jos, Kaduna,
that was when
Bauchi,
it was safe
Gombe.
to live.
I traveled from here to Jos.
That was when it was safe to
Bauchi,
live in Nigeria.
by road.
Gombe. There was a time that I was going to Kaduna from Lagos here every weekend. until Odia of Emu stopped me. That's a story I can't say here. I can't tell that story here. Until Odia of Emu, the literary giant, stopped me. He said, "You are a fool. Stop going."
God.
I was standing in front of my office with my bag, already preparing.
To go to Kaduna.
Yes, when he came, he said, "I understand this is what you do every weekend." Once I finished producing PM News as the editor then, I will take a bike from front of our office
Yes.
in Ogba. That's where you have to sensation now.
Yes.
Straight to Otto.
Oyinbo.
Oyinbo.
Yes.
Down.
Yes, straight to Oyinbo. From there, I will enter night bus. I'm still coming to produce the paper on a Monday morning.
Country that time.
But I enjoyed it.
Nigeria was fun.
It was fun.
But I
We
will
have to
nobody
bring back-
see even for 2-hour journey.
No, sir.
People will prefer not to go back.
Not to go.